Hello, friends. We're trying this again. And we're praying for sound. We are praying for sound. Come on over, friends. We're trying again. We're trying again. Hopefully the sound works. I'm not wearing a microphone, so it's going to be me and the roosters if there is sound. It's going to be an animal farm party. So, all right. I see one person's here. Let me know in the chat, can you hear me? Because I just tried this and no one could hear me. Can you hear me? Nobody's here now. Oh, hopefully someone can hear me and someone will come on. Just wait it out. Just wait it out. Just wait it out. If this doesn't work, I will make a video about these topics. These topics want to be talked about. So they will be talked about by me in my guides on YouTube. Hear you clear. There we go. Devin, thank you so much. All right. So let's actually get started now. Okay. I was mentioning last time that I have a free video mini course. It's the best kept secrets of radiant health and spiritual awakening. The link to sign up for that will be down below in the description. Very amazing, transformative, life-changing material I am sharing there. And also, I am giving my first Reiki 1 and 2 trainings in May online. Very, very exciting. Again, life-changing experience, spiritually activating, deeply healing, amazingly connective experience that will be offered. The waitlist link is below. So if you're interested in learning Reiki from me, definitely plug your email in there. And with that being said, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can live stream properly from my phone, which will produce a better video quality. And I can also stream from more interesting places. And I live in Hawaii, and I'll be traveling to South America next month. So there are places I would like to be able to show that, I'm not going to be toting my laptop up there to a waterfall, for example. So I'd really appreciate if you like my content, you go ahead and give this a thumbs up and also subscribe. So, all right. No period as a raw vegan. I've talked about this in previous videos as well as my Instagram lives. I did an interview with Portia J. Healing about not having a period and what that might mean. And as I've talked more and more about this, more people have come forward, more women on a raw diet, high raw diet, transitioning to vegan, transitioning to raw, fruitarian diet. They've come forward and been like, yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't have a period either. Yeah, I lost it, or whatever. It's gotten so light to the point where it's non-existent. And I'm feeling great. I'm in the best health of my life. I feel amazing. This seems like a really healthy thing, but I haven't been able to talk about it because people think I'm sick or it's weird or it's unhealthy or something like that. And I just want to reflect the possibility that it is normal, it is healthy. Assuming you're not underweight, assuming your other indications of health are good, assuming you're not like someone who's had anorexia and is still anorexic or something like that, right? Like assuming certain things about your health. You're otherwise a healthy person, okay? You might be slim, but not underweight like excessively, okay? So I just have to say that, right? Because of course, like if somebody's like 60 pounds suffering with anorexia doesn't have a period, that's a different situation than someone like me. I'm at my ideal weight. I have tons of energy, feel amazing. My health is the best it's ever been. Okay. Different situations. So I just wanted to offer that and just like share that it can be normal. It can be healthy. If I were to go into a doctor's office, which I have, they would straight away be saying, I need to gain weight. I need to put on fat. I need to work out less. I don't even work out that much in order to get the period back. Or here's some hormones. Here's some birth control pills. Like even the naturopaths are like, okay, Taylor, you need to eat more fat. You need to be doing seed cycling. Like we need to get it back here. You need to take this for your thyroid. If we boost your thyroid function up, then that'll maybe take care of the period. Well, what if not having a period isn't a freaking problem? What if it's actually a good thing? You ever think of that? I have more and more all the time. The more women who are coming forward and saying, well, they're in the best health of their life, they lost their period and they like not having a period and they feel amazing. And how amazing I feel, I'm like, I don't see a problem. Yeah, you're obviously very healthy. Yes, exactly. The healthiest I've ever been in my life. And as I shared in a different video, my period story was never normal. Like I didn't get a natural period until I was 17. And even then I didn't get it naturally. I took a birth control pill in order to start bleeding. So had I not done that, would I have ever bled at all? I don't know. Maybe if I had gotten like unhealthy and overweight, which later on in my adult life, I did gain a lot of weight because it got in my head this you don't have a period, it's bad thing. So that I turned myself unhealthy by gaining a bunch of weight and like being sedentary and all this actually having like joint pain and things like that in my 20s while I was meditating a lot. I was doing a lot of spiritual good stuff, but physically my health was declining. And during that time I did bleed. I got a period. But I think maybe had I never taken that birth control pill as a 17-year-old, I might never have bled. And that might not be a problem. In fact, it might be an absolute blessing and actually a sign that I'm a shaman instead. So I wanted to touch upon ovulation without bleeding because I mentioned that in my period video on YouTube. And someone asked, like, how do you know you're ovulating if you're not bleeding and you're not able to track your cycle? Well, my experience is that suddenly I feel like kind of a goo package like drop from my cervix, through my lady parts and like come out like moisture, like gooey kind of mucousy moisture kind of thing happen. That's like more than just like a regular discharge, but it's like a bit, like stickier, more substantial or something. And that to me is the ovulation happening. And I can really tell that happened because I don't have a lot of like moisture and stuff like that happening down there, discharge or anything normally because I'm abstinent. That really helps too. It's like there aren't like a bunch of like excessive juices happening down there because I don't have sex and I also don't masturbate. And that's been a major part of my spiritual path actually is while I was a nun at a Buddhist monastery, we took vows of abstinence there. And that was in 2018. Do you think women with more toxins need to bleed to expel them? Yes, I do. And I want to say that if you bleed, that doesn't mean you're dirty. If you have a period, that doesn't mean you're dirty. That doesn't mean you're bad. I think that can be a very beautiful, sacred rite of womanhood and initiation and connection with Mother Earth. And that can be awesome. And some women can be relatively clean, you know, and detoxed and living I know some of my dearest friends live very healthy lifestyles and bleed, and that's okay. But I think for some of us, we do all the same things as our friends that do the water fasting and juice cleansing and raw vegan diet, and we happen to lose our periods and not need to bleed and not need to eliminate the toxins vaginally that well. You know, there's not this whole buildup, and the uterus is just not happening. Maybe whatever buildup is happening is being like reabsorbed, or it's just being taken care of by the body. So I think there's a chance that like there's a different like bodily design in some of us who lose our periods too. I think it could be that, which is why like I think the shamanic connection is actually coming down for me pretty hardcore right now, and that maybe these are women who are called to be more of the healers and to be more of the witchy women and magic makers, and you know, even those of us who are called to work with plant medicine or plant spirits. I'm reading this book now. It's a Singing to the Plants, a guide to mestizo shamanism in the upper Amazon. And it had a really interesting passage about, because I've been collecting perspectives on like not bleeding actually being a good thing. I shared that in the Tao, I don't know, how do you say it? Like it's a T or a D. I've heard both and whatever. That actually the key to longevity, the key to good health for women is to really minimize their flow, to minimize their menstruation. And if you're able to like transcend the need for menstruating at all, that instead of losing that energy, you're able to like hold more energy, right? And have more energy and like live a longer life. So having no or very little menstruation is actually going to increase your lifespan, like how long you live. So it could be that too, that you're just like women who don't bleed are like we're destined to be like the triple digit team, right? Like 100+ team in age and in longevity. So I think it's very much a good thing. And yeah, I'll read this about in the Amazon. Just another perspective. They're talking about how there aren't a lot of female shamans because the plant spirits who they work with, these shamans work with ayahuasca, the plant medicine, which I've actually never sat with before. I'll just share that. They say the plant spirits dislike the smells of human sex, semen, and menstrual blood. The plant spirits will not go near a woman who is menstruating. The presence of a menstruating woman at an ayahuasca ceremony, she said, will disturb the shaman's concentration and impair the visions of everyone present. Such a participant can drink ayahuasca, but she will not receive the full benefit of the drink. Blowing tobacco smoke on the menstruating woman all over her body, beginning from the crown of her head down to the soles of her feet, may mitigate but does not eliminate the problem. For the same reason, this woman said, a female shaman cannot work while menstruating. Well, what if women who don't menstruate, or more of these like shamanic healer types, right? Like this has come through for me recently. It's like, this is why I don't bleed. This is why I never bled, because I'm one of these people who's like supposed to work with plant spirits and various spirits, because that's the work that I do in my Reiki. So that is a possibility. And I obviously, if you're a woman and you're watching this and you don't believe, you don't resonate as a shaman, I also want to say that, maybe you're not destined to work with plant medicine, right? Like, I was just on Instagram Live talking about Reiki. The kind of Reiki I practice is Holy Fire Reiki, and it's like a highly shamanic form of Reiki energy healing. So really, this is just evidence that there's like this full range of normalcy and normality in different women's experiences. And I think, you know, from a natural hygiene perspective, yeah, the woman who doesn't bleed is clean, is pure, and is not needing to have that detoxification happen in that route. What would happen if I consumed a cow? I feel like this is a troll comment, but yeah, I wouldn't say that that's a health supportive thing to do. Yeah. If that's a legitimate question, you know, I'm willing to engage, but I'm feeling that it's not. Since we're talking about raw vegans and vegans. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about another thing that's come in for me about meditating on this question of what it means to not bleed and to not have a period is some Blessed Virgin Mary kind of energy. The Blessed Virgin Mary, and, you know, the Immaculate Conception, and how she had the baby Jesus without actually having sex. Yeah, there's some trolls in the chat. I believe I'm not unfeminist at all. I think I was just saying that this is not an attempt to condemn or shame women who do bleed. I think it's very beautiful to have a period. It's very sacred to bleed and connect to the moon and to connect to the earth through the sacrament of having a menstruation. I think it's absolutely beautiful. But I'm also here to speak to the truth of women who do not bleed, who have been shamed, who have been pathologized, and need to be seen and recognized and heard and supported and empowered with information that their experience is healthy too. In fact, it can be mystical and magical and empowering in a shamanic context, in a context of living a very long, healthy life, perhaps in a different capacity than just being a woman who is meant to procreate and use fertility that way. But there's a different kind of fertility that the woman who doesn't bleed possesses inherently, and that contains some keys for longevity, some keys for transmitting healing to others, you know, through plant medicine or through Reiki, through energy healing, through other modalities, herbal medicine, etc. So I think it's honoring the full range of woman's experience, not just saying that to be a woman, one must bleed, because I feel more connected to my womanness, to my femininity than I ever have in my life. And I'm not bleeding, I'm not menstruating, and I'm also not having sex, and I'm also not trying to procreate. So I think, if anything, what I'm doing here and my intention being here is to make the conversation about periods to be fully inclusive to all women who have the full range of experiences, whether that is full-on, regular, monthly cycle, beautiful, childbearing, fertile, that experience, more the white moon cycle, and the women who are more of this red moon cycle, who maybe are, let's see how it goes. They're menstruating with the full moon and they're ovulating on the new moon, which is seen as the infertile cycle, which is seen more of the healers, the magic makers, the shamans, the women who are doing more of the healing work. And in this category, I think this is where the women who don't bleed at all are located. And I hold space and recognize and honor the full range of women's experiences, and not say that, you know, these so-called infertile women are any less good or bad than the fertile women. The fertile women are beautiful. The more shamanic women who aren't bleeding or maybe menstruating according to that cycle are beautiful. Neither is better or worse. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, abstinence is absolutely, yes, using fertility in a different way. Exactly. If anything, since being abstinent, since not bleeding, the abstinence, I really resisted it when I was at the monastery. I really resisted it. I wanted to masturbate still. Because I enjoy sex. Like, I super enjoy sex. I still wanted to masturbate when I was at the monastery, and I did, like, intermittently, which, like, didn't feel right, but really we were encouraged to embrace abstinence fully. And since I left the monastery, I've continued by not having sex, like, with others, and then also stopping masturbation completely. And since I stopped masturbating too, my spiritual life has just increased dramatically. Oh my God. Like, connecting with that sacred choice of complete abstinence, no sex with others, no sex with oneself, has really, like, sealed the container of my root chakra in a very balanced, grounded way, where I'm grounding to the core of the earth. Okay. I'm grounding to the core of the earth. And it is a bit of a struggle to stay grounded when you're really not having any form of sex. But it's really expedited, like, Kundalini awakening potential, where all of the higher guidance is like very much welcome and coming in, and there's not this sexual, like, distraction. There's not this, I mean, it is kind of like the yogic, like, sense withdrawal, yama, I believe that's, yeah, one of the yamas, one of the 8 limbs, to not be so fixated on pleasure for pleasure's sake, and then thus not be trapped in the cycle of pleasure seeking, pain avoidance, which the Buddhists talk about all the time. But instead to then be in this space of really, really, really being present, and really, really enjoying the simplicity, enjoying the richness, the fullness, the full sensory experience of every moment and what everything has to offer. And thus then feeling pleasure in that more simplicity. It's another way to really sensitize yourself even more, right? Because, you know, you overstimulate a certain area, let's say the root chakra, the vagina, with sex or masturbation, then you lose that sensitivity to maybe some of the more subtle aspects of the root chakra. And yeah, actually the breath work I'm working with too is, like, really closing off that root chakra and drawing all of the energy up out of the body and into the brain, into the head, with the intention that we're pulling the energy out of the subconscious body and into, like, the frontal lobe, into the pineal gland, like, bringing all of that energy, massaging and squeezing that pineal gland, so that there's more opportunity for the mystical experiences to happen. There's more opportunity and support for living out of the conscious mind, creating your life, creating yourself, creating your reality, versus just being a vehicle for old programs, subconscious programs, you know, past life traumas, whatever stored in the body, trauma stored in the body, whatever social programs are being thrown at us, whatever ancestral programs, familial programs, abuse patterns, you know, toxic psychological patterns, dynamics. getting the power away from all of that and really like coming into this like conscious awareness and intentional life creation and more openness and receptivity to the mystical, more openness and receptivity to the divine. And I could definitely say that the abstinence has been next level for me. This was actually information. It was kind of like a command. It was a challenge. It was a challenge I received from my guides who were like, you want this next level stuff, then you need to stop masturbating too completely. And I was like, all right, I do it. I'll try it. And I could definitely say that it's good. It's real good. Underrated. Completely underrated. So underrated. It just makes it so that I feel like all of life is a sexual experience. All of life is this transcendent experience. Yes. I love what you said, Devin. Basically, disconnecting from the fleshly temporary so you can connect with the spiritual and eternal. Yes, in this sacred temple of the body. Yeah, so that the sacred temple of the body really truly becomes a container for the divine. And again, this is where, I've been thinking about Blessed Virgin Mary. That's what homegirl Blessed Virgin Mary did. Her container, her body temple became a sacred vessel for baby Jesus, Son of God, to enter the world as a human, God in flesh, God in skin. So I even think that, this would be more the route for an immaculate conception miracle to come forward. I'm not planning on trying it. But very much, I think, this is like a spiritual, sexual, feminist woman path that is possible and really isn't shared and talked about enough. And it's something I've actually been grappling with really since 2012, which is when I had a big spiritual awakening that coincided with going vegan, that coincided with like just going 180 degrees on all of my life. Is I was coming out of an abusive relationship, and really since leaving that relationship and having a lot of this spiritual awakening stuff happen, all of this healing happen, I've not had significant relationships, serious partnerships since then. I've had a couple flings. I've had some, sexual partners, but not very much at all. Like I've spent the majority of the last 9 years abstinent and, just embracing it rather than saying, there's a big program out there saying if you're a woman and you don't bleed, you're sick. If you're a woman and you're not married and you're, really even in your 20s or older, you're wrong, you're bad, you're corrupt. If you're a woman and in your 20s and older and you don't have kids, there's definitely something wrong with you. If you're not married or in a partnership. And to that, I say that is BS. That is absolute BS. There's a full range of paths and ways of relating to feminine sexuality, to relationships as a woman. And I think, again, like all paths are welcome. And finally, I've come into this spot where it's like, nah, I'm in my power here. I'm in my power being abstinent, and I'm in my power not seeking partnership either, and there's certainly not anything wrong with me because I didn't choose to get married, or I haven't chosen to get married or have a child. That this is really like a powerful place to be. Thank you, Erin, for that. I appreciate that comment. Yeah, it seems the trolls have left. I scared them off. Me and my guides. My guides were like, I got a powerful team, y'all. I got a powerful team. And I didn't do an invocation, you know. I think that's probably something I can do next time when I come on YouTube Live. I can do another invocation, and that'll help seal this container, because I didn't do that, and you feel a difference. But, you know, if the trolls are coming out of the woodwork, that means you're reaching people, right? What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, just the fact that some of us are not meant to be mothers. You know, if there's somebody who watches this at some point and, you know, they don't feel like really called to be a mother or a wife in this lifetime, this might be your like break lifetime. This might be you might have chosen to come into this life and not be a mother for once. Like, myself, I've lived many lives. I have a lot of past lives, many. I've done everything. I've been every possible gender, every possible ethnicity. I've lived everywhere. I've been a mother so many times. I've been a wife so many times. I've been a husband so many times. I've been a son, a daughter, a father, a mother, a child, you know, you name it. I've done it all so many times that this lifetime, I truly feel like I chose that I will not be a mother to children. You know, I will be a mother to adults. I will teach them how to step into their power. I will teach them how to heal. That's really how I truly feel, while also connecting and bringing forth and empowering my own inner child, and helping others connect and empower, helping adults connect with and empower their own inner children and begin to take care of them, but also allow them to express themselves and merge with the adult form, so that that inner child, that joy, that fun, that playfulness is able to come through, but not to the extent that the adult can't get the adult things done, right? Like that there's the parent, like restoring the parent and the inner child in every adult. I think that's a big part of my mission and my work here. But I think if you're a woman and you're watching this, you're not drawn to be a mother, I think it is possible that you've been a mother many, many, many times in many lifetimes. And that in this lifetime, like, if you're not feeling it, like, don't do it. Like, it's all good. You might be more of a shamanic lady. You might just be a lady where that's just not what you're called to do. Maybe you're a career woman. Maybe there's some other passion that you're really meant to dive into more so. So I want to really empower that possibility too. Yeah, shamans and abstinence is the same with shamans and menstruation. So the shamans in the Amazon, the ones who are working with the ayahuasca that I've been studying about, they undertake a dieta. They call it la dieta, and they go in the jungle, la selva, for a long time, and they're not having sex at all. These are typically men, which I think is another reason why women like me need to really step up and step into our female shamanic power and female shamanic roles. So these male shamans go into the jungle and they're on the dieta and they're not having sex either. And that abstinence is a key part to working directly with the plant spirits. The plant spirits won't hang around if there's menstruation, if there's blood, and they are not going to hang around if there's the smells and energies of sex. And I really get that. I really get that now that I'm practicing the abstinence, and I'm also understanding why plant spirits, and I've never even taken ayahuasca, but I've been visited by ayahuasca. Who wants to work with me? It's funny. And like, I get why she came to me. It's because I don't have sex and I don't bleed, but also I've really honed in on what practices create a clear channel in the human vehicle body so that the divine can really take up residence and be shared with others, whether that's in a teaching capacity or in a direct healing capacity, which I'm, predominantly using that as through the energy, tools, techniques, and systems of Reiki. So Yeah, shamans in the jungle, they're not having sex, and that's a big part of, if you go to South America, for example, and you're going to ayahuasca ceremony or plant medicine ceremony, then you're also instructed to be abstinent before that, just as a participant, in addition to the shaman being abstinent as well, to really hold that sacred space and that sacred container for the divine. And that is not to say that the act of sex is bad or dirty or anything like that. I think it's truly beautiful. It truly can be a union. I don't know a whole lot about tantric sex, but from my understanding is it can be a whole beautiful, transcendent experience. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely helping you connect with divine, divinity, unity, oneness, consciousness, total merging, blending, like beautiful thing. I don't have personal experience with it. That has not been my path. Yeah, life can be one giant orgasm. It doesn't have to be isolated to the genitals. That is really how I feel. Y'all, I feel like so often, like I drank a coconut last night looking at the stars and the moon, and I was like, ah! Like, this morning during yoga, like I had an experience like that. There's so many different times where I'm just like, and there's nothing like sexually stimulating going on. Like it changes things in like a very cool way that's not talked about. And like, yeah, I mean, if it's having sex and masturbating or listening, being able to clearly hear the voice of my microgreens talk to me, I think I'm going to choose hearing the voices of my microgreens talking to me. I'm going to choose being able to hear what Jesus has to say to me, being able to see exactly what he does when I'm doing a Reiki session with someone who wants to be healed. Like, that's what I signed up for. That's what I said yes to. If it seems like a bit of a sacrifice, it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make wholeheartedly. Because again, I've been a wife, I've been a mother, I've been a father, and I had a lot of sex when I was younger too. Like, I had a lot of pleasure. I had some really great experiences. And yeah, again, sex is not dirty. I think tantric sex is probably extremely beautiful. It's not something I've experienced in this lifetime. But I also think and have to name the fact that it's been abused. It's been abused greatly by many different gurus in different traditions. It's been abused by yogis in different schools of yoga. It's been used as this tool to get beautiful female students a lot of the time, but also children, to believe that their key to enlightenment, their key to liberation, is to have sex with the guru, when in fact the guru is inside everybody. There's a guru inside you. You don't have to have sex with some person who claims to be the incarnation of some enlightened being in order for you to obtain liberation. I mean, that has greatly been abused. And I don't want to say that, I'm not saying every guru has abused that, or every person who's done tantric sex is like using it in a bad way. I'm sure there's some who are using it in a healthy, productive, beneficial, reciprocal, consensual way, but it has been abused quite a bit. And it's not necessary. I think if anything, I was just talking about this on my Insta Live, but moving away from this age of the outer authority, this age of constantly searching for this external guru, this external somebody to tell you how to be you, to tell you what your truth is. That is all. That is done. That's over. This is the age of connecting to your inner authority, to learning how to connect to your inner guidance, to your heart, to your truth, and coming into your power and expressing that truth. And that's definitely a big part of why I feel the healing that's happened in me since working with Reiki, but also the healing I feel like I need to be sharing with others. So yeah. And I just wanted to review, because I put it in the title, the red moon and the white moon cycles. The red moon, it's women who menstruate with the full moon, who ovulate on the new moon. They are the healers, empowerers, the wisdom holders, and the magic makers. So this is a beautiful, beautiful cycle. In the past, they were called evil and the witches. Okay, these are my people. And then the white moon cycle is the more traditional, fertile, balanced cycle, balance in with the earth and the moon energies, bleeding with the new moon, ovulating with the full moon. So getting pregnant, getting knocked up when the moon is full. And tonight is a full moon, or tomorrow is. Yeah, full moon in Virgo, full moon in Pisces, or something like that. So that on the full moon, when everyone's wild, the white moon woman is ovulating. So when she has sex, she's gonna then produce a child. That's the fertility cycle. But I think even looking at it like that, as I said earlier, looking at the white moon, the woman who can become pregnant as the fertile one, as the balanced one, is just not. It's a limited way to look at what the role of women is. It's like, we are containers for the divine. We are containers and gateways and vessels for bringing in non-physical and the physical, right? So these little children who want to come in and be born as human beings, we have the opportunity to be a gateway for that, but we also have an opportunity to be a gateway for the divine, to be a gateway to be channels of the divine, whether that's, channeling like the teachings and the messages of the divine, whether that's channeling divine healing energy in the form of energy healing, in the form of, medicine, in the form of like different psychic abilities and things like that. And I think both are very noble paths. I think there's probably paths, even many other meandering ones in between those two. But I think they're all equally woman. They're all equally feminine. They're all equally sexual and sensual too. Because I feel more sensual than ever in my life, abstinent, not bleeding, and I'm the oldest I've ever been, right? Like, I'm older than I was yesterday. And it just, life just keeps getting like juicier and juicier. And like, it's too funny. It really is funny. Like, to feel so, it's like a paradox, it's like, you don't believe that life can become more sensual, more orgasmic, more like sensitive and alluring and sexual, like that you could feel more sexual, more feminine, and more woman than ever before, like stepping away from these traditional woman things, right? Stepping away from being a mother, stepping away from being a wife, stepping away from having sex with anyone else or yourself. And really, like, I find myself expressing my sexuality, like, just in other ways, like all the time, really, which makes me like probably more sparkly and attractive to other people, because I'm really holding that energy. I'm really holding it and like learning from it, and being a container for it. It's awesome. And then I have more energy and clarity to deal with and navigate and negotiate other realms, and spirits want to talk to me more. These subtler energies want to work with me more, because I'm in a very pure, pristine place that to them, they do require that. That's how they are. A lot of these spirits in this book, they talk about the plant spirits as being very jealous spirits. So if you are someone who's in a relationship or having sex with someone else, I think maybe that's why they're put off. It's like they're jealous and they don't want to be around someone who's already like committed to someone else. They like the single ladies, you know, they like the ladies not having the sex, like, because they have enough space to receive the divine, you know, and often a lot of the masculine energies, right? A lot of the spiritual teachers that I work with are masculine energies, and they love women. They love working with women, and they love working with women who are not in like more traditional relationships. That's been coming in very clear with me, because we have space for them, you know. Don't have like a husband and children and all these concerns, and yeah, if you don't have menstrual blood even to turn them off, it's like that's even more next level. So I think that's all I'm going to say about this today, but I appreciate y'all tuning in. And as I said, there's a wait list for my Reiki class, which I will be teaching in May. Y'all can sign up for that if you're interested in learning Reiki for me. I'm doing the 40 days of Reiki, where I alternate days on YouTube Live and Instagram Live sharing about Reiki to educate, inspire, inform, and intrigue you about Reiki, because it has absolutely changed my life and me for the better. And there's also a free course I'm offering to my email list, The Best Kept Secrets of Radiant Health and Spiritual Awakening, where we go super deep into the 5 petals of the flower of healing. It's a mini course. It's videos like this, and it's exclusive content that I don't share anywhere else. It's things like this where it's like nobody's talking about this and they need to be talking about this, and it's like too taboo to talk about. I'm talking about that. So because that's what I love to talk about, you know, that's what I'm passionate about. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Please like this video if y'all like it, subscribe for more, share it with someone you think who could benefit, and much love to you. Namaste, friends. Namaste. Shine on. Shine on. Until next time. Appreciate you being here. Super.